It's fun to see the evolution of your routine. Woo! When I first quit drinking, I was working construction. I'd smoke like half a pack. I was down to about half a pack. Leave work, drive the grass mountain, do the grass grind, and just die. I didn't really know what I was doing. Sort of flailing, right? What I was doing was ironing out the routine, ironing out new pathways in my brain. I was learning. I didn't invest in someone else to fucking teach me shit. Personal trainers, diet coaches, that's like you supplanting your fitness identity in someone else versus you investing in yourself and then learning a couple things, developing some mindsets, and developing a fitness identity that will sustain you in the long term. I always say that the three things of a good routine are: one, something is unique to you, very personal, you know, it's like a feather in your cap. Maybe you do a polar bear plunge, you go for a swim every day of the year, no matter what. Everyone's like, what, you do that? And you're like, yes. And if you do it for a while, it's no longer crazy, and you've learned a couple of things and you've ironed out those pathways in your brain, and you're stronger mentally. You have got some solid mental reps in. You haven't just had someone coaching you this whole time. In that situation, when you've had just a trainer or whatever being your motivation, the person who's your starter, you're not investing in the learning and the discovery. It's pulling teeth every time you go to the gym and you're like, fuck, I don't want to do this, but this person's gonna make me do it. You're building negative mental association. There's not positive mental reps you're getting. So you're training yourself to hate the process versus the positive mental reps of the learning process, doing cool things like pouring a tea, going down to the ocean, taking a polar bear swim, or like a run when I was doing the grind every day and I was kind of flailing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I enjoyed the ritual. I enjoyed getting my tea and driving to Grouse Mountain, doing my grind and the reward at the end, and the whole process of taking the tram down the mountain. And that's what I call ironing out the routine. You're ironing out the routine, you're ironing out these new pathways, going, ooh, maybe I can go over here, I can try that. When someone else is your starter, when you have a coach, it's like you rely on them for creativity. When that is taken away, what do? You need to have something that will sustain you in the long term. When you're old and decrepit, be at a point where you have mental schema, you've developed these mindsets that you'll be able to get creative with what you got when you can't play football anymore. Invest in something that will sustain you in the long term. That's a fitness identity. The way you craft a fitness identity, the way you cultivate these mindsets, is through the all-important routine. There's so many nuances, and I'm so excited for you. It's such a cool learning process. It's all these cliches, right? It is self-discovery, and your motivation comes from within. All true. You apply these principles to the routine, it starts to really make sense. And these tropes, these cliches, all the big ones, you're not going to get started until you yourself are willing. Like, that is step one. That is a fundamental principle of recovery. That is fitness recovery. And you cannot rely on anyone else. You have to go and flail a little bit. And maybe if you live on a hill, make it your ritual to go run up that hill or walk up the hill. Start small. I said the first thing of a good routine, which is something that's unique and personal to you. But, you know, the second principle is that it's something that you can start competing at a reasonably high level, right? So you're not going to get discouraged right away. And then the third thing is something where there's lots of room for improvement. So like, obviously you can get far more advanced than just walking up a hill. I got far more advanced than smoking a pack of cigarettes and doing the grouse grind. And then I started mixing it up a little bit. I added weights. When I couldn't do enough with the weights that I had at home, I finally bought a gym membership. I didn't just run out the door and go buy a gym membership and go stand underneath these bright fluorescent lights with no mental reps in the bag and no mindsets developed, and stand there and be like, I feel like an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing here. This is terrible. I hate this. I am training myself to hate this. No, I was at a point where it's like, I couldn't physically do enough with the weight that I had at home, and I had to go someplace where there's more weight. I went to the gym. That is natural progression. So exercise the law of natural progression and derivative fitness, where you compound good habits, because you start with something like doing the grind and you're smoking, and then smoking becomes unsustainable, and then you quit smoking, and these little good habits ripple out into other areas of your life. And now you have to feed the machine. Now you need some protein. Now it's like you start eating well to fuel yourself on the grind. It's not run out the door and try everything at once and get someone else to tell you what to do. Just start with something small. I love you guys. Go for it.